Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Wendy Walsh. My live stream is about to begin. Let me get TikTok going here, too. Oh, I don't have my tripod in the right position. Sorry about that. I was busy recording something, actually. So come on board. And the first thing I always like to see in your comments is show me where you're watching from. I'll turn on the comments, and then we'll get into 3 quick relationship questions before I go on to my Patreon Zoom room. Must be Wednesday, must be 6 o'clock. Dr. Wendy Walsh is here. Okay, there we go. It's a little crooked on TikTok. I can't quite, there we go. There we go. All righty. Hi, everybody. Tell me where you're watching from. I'm Dr. Wendy Walsh. I'm America's relationship expert. This is my Wednesday night live stream. I'm trying to keep, I got a camera up there on TikTok, and I got one down here. Type something here. I'm waiting for people to come on board so I can see your comments. Hi, everybody. First thing I like is to tell me where you're watching from. It's really fun, especially on TikTok, to see. Can you hear me okay on TikTok? I unplugged my mic. Let me see if I can plug it in. Tell me where you're watching from. There we go. Can you hear me better, TikTok? And here we go. We got over here on YouTube, Texas, Sonoma County. Hello. Nice to see you guys. Where are you guys? East Tennessee up there on TikTok. Where else are you watching from? This is always my short little live stream that I do on Wednesdays for about 15 minutes right before I go over to my Patreon private exclusive Zoom room. And if you have not come over to Patreon yet, I really suggest you do. You go to patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. That's where you can find my podcast, my books. I answer literally 100% of the private messages that come to me on Patreon. And we have private Zoom rooms as well. So welcome, everybody. Tell me where you're watching from. Hi, New Zealand. Hi, DC. Good to see you. Oh, we got Dallas on board. Hello, Dallas. How are you? So tell me where you're watching from or ask your questions. I'm going to answer 3 quick questions before I go over to my Patreon Zoom room. Hi, San Diego. Hi, Michigan. Hi, Louisiana. Hi, Omaha. Hello, Pennsylvania. Oh, Roz from Vancouver. Hi, Vancouver. The other night I was doing a live stream on my radio show, and I swear half of Canada was there. I'm Canadian, but I live in Los Angeles. Okay. You put the State of the Union address on record. I don't think I'm into politics. I am, but I don't talk about it when I'm talking about relationships, because you know what? I find that politics are too polarizing, and I'm about love. And everybody has relationship issues, no matter what their thing is. Hello, Uganda's here. Hi. So if you have a question about your relationship, I'm happy to answer. Or tell me where you're watching from. There's Linda from Pasadena. Oh, well, Zoe, I'm putting you up here on the screen because that's the nicest compliment I think I've ever received. Zoe says, not a question, but how did you get so amazing at your advice? Yours is the best I've ever listened to about relationships. I'll tell you that it is both experiential and it's textbook. So what happened is when I was going through all my traumatic bonds and I was having tough relationships and problems, and, you know, I went literally, if it's happened negative in a relationship, it's happened to me, from domestic violence, I'm sorry to say, to sexual assault, to being gaslit and in traumatic bonds, etc., having an anxious attachment style. I went to therapy. I started in my early 30s. I stayed in therapy for 12 years. During part of that time, I went back to graduate school and I got a master's and PhD in psychology, and I specialize in attachment theory. So my advice is always a mix of both my experience in life that I was trying to make sense of with my prefrontal cortex by going to graduate school. Question, do I ditch him after 5 days of no communication? Well, he might be dead. I don't know. Why don't you just write one more time? Have you been communicating like you've been texting? Saying, hey, what happened to you? I would send one last what happened to you. And then if there's nothing, move on. Hello from Miami. Oh, I missed that. Do you have some tips? But I couldn't see it. It went past. What do you do if your partner's not willing to seek therapy? An excellent question. did you, because that's how I started therapy. I tried to drag in a partner and he went for one session and then he left. And then I stayed in therapy. So here's the thing. Even one person could go to couples therapy and change the couple. Because think of a family or a relationship as a system that's like a machine with lots of moving parts. And if one part changes, the other person has to react to that. So you can change a relationship and impact a relationship just by one person going, hi, North Carolina, how are you? Who else we got over here? Oh, yes, Nadia, I'm going to get to yours in just a second too, over on Facebook. Roz says, I'm dating a guy since last December. However, he doesn't seem eager to date regularly. He says he's kind of busy. I don't know, but would your husband behave that way? I mean, my feeling is if a guy is not like totally energized at the beginning, he's not going to suddenly get energized later. You should be with a guy who's at his state of readiness. And if you come to my Patreon Zoom rooms, I talk about what is a state of readiness. But waiting for a guy to suddenly get like less busy, he's not busy. We all have 24 hours in the day, okay? And he's making a choice to not put you first. And why would you put up with that? That's what I'm going to say. Okay, I do want to go back to, where did I see? Nadia says, can I talk about toxic positivity? I know it's not relationship, but oh no, it's big relationship advice. So everyone should know that on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, that's 11 a.m. East Coast time, I'm going to do a live stream with marriage and family therapist Whitney Goodman on both Instagram and TikTok, where we talk about toxic positivity. She wrote a book called Toxic Positivity. If you haven't followed her on Instagram, you probably should. She has 500,000 followers on Instagram. Sit with Wit. She gives very practical advice of how to deal with toxic positivity. And so we're going to start on Instagram at 8 a.m. Pacific on Thursday morning, and then at 8:30 move over to TikTok. Okay, so go to one or the other and you'll see us and we'll talk about it. But to answer your question briefly, toxic positivity is practiced by people who have an avoidant attachment disorder or avoidant attachment style. And so they want to dismiss the feelings of others. And they've been taught that if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. So they manage to always find the silver lining, to always be cheerful. And that sounds fun, doesn't it? Except it can also be very dismissive and very painful, especially if one of the partners is suffering. Her Instagram is called Sit with Wit. It's Whitney Goodman is her name. Whitney Goodman. She's a marriage and family therapist in Miami, and she wrote a great book called Toxic Positivity. Okay, quick question. Let me go up here. He feels bad about what? You're from Costa Rica, your boyfriend's a medical doctor, and you're a dentist. He feels bad about it. About what? Did you see something else earlier? He feels bad that he's a doctor? I don't know about that. Okay. What else do we got? Any more questions over here? There's usually, Sydney's not here. Sydney usually has, oh, there's Sydney. She's always got a question. Oh, am I going to watch the State of the Union address? What time is it? Am I going to be on my live stream, Sydney? Because I still have to go over to Patreon in 20 minutes. Oh, it's happening now. Watch live. I just got Apple News pinging. I know everyone's going to leave me to go watch Biden, and so you should. How to make a younger guy, 7 years younger, fall for you? Okay, first of all, I want to be very clear about this. You can't make somebody behave in any way. You can't make somebody fall in love with you. The whole thing about love is you don't go out and go, oh, that person, that's the one I'm into, so I'm going to figure out a way to trick him and make him love me. We don't talk like that. I was just joking. The truth is, you figure out who you are, what you deserve in a relationship, and when you get that behavior with somebody, you say yes to them. You find somebody who's at their state of readiness, who's willing to give to you. Nadia, you can hear my radio show in Mexico? We go down, oh, I guess on the app, right? The iHeartRadio app. How cool. Thank you for saying I look fun. My teenagers would not believe that you said that. But anyway, I'm not cool to them. Do you have tips for partners with different libidos? Yes, I do. You're both male. Okay. So here's the thing. I think there's a lot of pressure in relation. Well, let me just tell you what the science says. The science says schedule sex. come to an agreement that's going to be somewhere in between that works for both of you, and you're going to put it on the schedule. Because the person with, okay, so the most common thing that people go into sex therapy for, couples, is somebody has a high desire, somebody has a low desire. And what happens is the high desire person nags and nags and nags. And then the low desire person says, you know, if you just stop nagging me and wait till I come to you, then it might be a little better, right? So then they enter what's called the devil's contract, right? Where they walk around on eggshells. The high desire person's totally frustrated. The low desire person is getting a lot of relief, but nobody's having sex. So if you were to go to sex therapy, the first thing they would teach you is, first of all, how to get sex out of the genitals and into, and I'm not a sex therapist, I'm a psychologist, but I will just say, they will teach you sensate focus exercises. Look that up. They will actually break the devil's pact by saying you're not allowed to have sex for 6 weeks, but there are certain touching exercises you have to do. And the other thing is, for some partners, no matter your gender, foreplay can take 3 days, meaning if you know it's on the schedule, you'll be getting your mind into it. I mean, orgasms are in our brains, not that they're imagined, but their brains need a story, right? So they need to work on their fantasies and their stories in their head. They may need to practice some self-care. They may need to buy a candle or whatever. But I think if the both of you want to maintain the relationship, you can start to have that conversation about what kind of compromise could you have. And believe me, if you're in a long-term relationship, scheduling sex is not unsexy. It's very, very romantic. Oh, he feels bad that you make more money. So here's the thing. Patriarchy swims around in the heads of men and women, right? And we all need to reevaluate our ideas of gender role and talk about these things, because this is all culturally invented. You know, if the two of you are happy, that's really what matters. Let me go down here to see if I get, oh, the questions are piling in. You know what? That's a really nice rejection you got, Dan. Can I put it up on the thing, Dan? So someone wrote, after you had drinks, thanks for the invitation. I'm going to decline. You're attractive, smart, empathetic, gentlemanly. Having said that, I think at this point in my life, I'm looking for someone older or a little closer to my age, also seeking someone who's crazy about bicycling as I am. Thanks for the drinks. And you may see me pop in, you know, at some place. You know what? This is what I tell women to do, to not ghost a guy, but to basically say, hey, I don't think romance is in the cards for us, but hey, I might see you at whatever, or maybe we'll do business together or something. So there's no reaction for you, but the next thing, it just means you're a bad match. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. Oh my God, Sai, you keep saying the funniest things to me. I'm trying to find. This is actually probably some good advice. Samuel, I'll put you up here. I would love to learn how to pronounce your middle name. Oluwazugun. How'd I do? Oluwazugun. He's learned that the key to success in every relationship starts with self-love. The love is to let go. The greatest love. I'm not really religious, and everybody can have their version of God, whatever. But I will say that if you're welcome, Dan. I will say this, that it's important that we have partly self-love, but also just some self-esteem, to just not tolerate bad behavior and know that you deserve good behavior, that you deserve love. That's the self-love that I think he's talking about. Okay. I'm going to answer this last question because it's really important. We had an argument and he didn't even try to talk to me for 4 days. Now, according to the Gottman Institute, John Gottman's been studying couples conflict for about 4 decades here. That is called stonewalling, the silent treatment. And let me tell you this, if your family of origin taught you to practice the silent treatment, you are in for some big relationship problems. Of all the negative conflict styles, it tends to be the worst. And here's why. When one partner is dismissed, they will eventually find somebody who will listen, and that will be a lover or a lawyer. These relationships don't last. The silent treatment is not good. Okay, so much activity tonight. I'm going over now to my Patreon Zoom room. It's not too late to join. Patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. It's a private community where you can find my podcast, my books, my blogs, private Zoom rooms with me, educational lectures. There's so much going on over on my Patreon community. I am inspiring an army of love warriors over there. And you can join for as little as $4 a month. So it's really, I made it affordable so everybody can access it. So come on over to patreon.com/Dr. Wendy Walsh. Otherwise, I'm going to see you guys TikTok and Instagram anyway on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific. Patreon, Patreon, Patreon. All right, bye everybody.